boy. Alright guys, so today I'm finally going to make the video updating you on how my GT/LTW wing conversion went. I'll be going over just a couple of steps of what I did, things to consider if this is something you want to do yourself, and then just real quick, how I installed the wing. So first, I'm just going to give you a real quick shot of what this looks like with the lights on, and give you a couple of shots from around it, and then we will get into how I put it together. Alright, now that you've heard my car and kind of seen how it looks from the back, I'll probably overlay other photos that I have. Let's go into what it takes to mount this thing and put the light in. So the first thing you'll notice is that it is not mounted where the old wing went, the factory or dealership. Bo, get out of the road! What are you doing? The OEM high arch or low arch, whatever, bolts in to the side here. I plugged that with silicone. Then you need to actually drill some holes into your trunk to interface with the two bolts that hold the wing in. This is a three-piece design where you have the base piece, and then the bolts come through and bolt into this middle piece, and then the middle piece has bolts that bolt into the top part of the wing. So it's kind of hard to get in there with the screws, so what I did was I just used a regular bolt that's reachable for the bottom one. But then for the top one, if you have a regular size screw, there's a big chance that you're going to drop it inside your trunk, and then you will never get it out. So what I ended up doing, I'll probably put a picture somewhere on here, is I double nutted some nuts onto a long bolt, put the nuts halfway through, and then I screwed it in. You don't need to worry too much about these holes. I just siliconed them closed for peace of mind, but technically this drains all into the drainage part of your trunk. Before I get into the light itself, we'll just go over the rest of the wing. Something to note, the hardest part of this was painting, because it's a replica wing that came pre-primed. Mako and 3 other shops were unwilling to touch it because they didn't know what chemicals were used, and they couldn't guarantee me that the paint would look good. I understand why they do that, but I think that's a load of crap. I went in there and I said, literally, I sanded the whole thing, just paint it, and don't cover me by warranty. But no one painted it, so I had to paint it myself. So first time ever painting a car part, I had to use rattle cans. For having to use rattle cans, which I know is blasphemous, it turned out okay, and I'll keep it on my car. Okay, on to the prime part. How did we get the brake light in there to make our LTW replica? I have various photos that I will throw on the screen as well, but let me give you the money shot of the bottom here. You'll notice right away that my paint started to crack a little bit. This is areas where I used silicone and it was kind of soft. My mistake, because obviously if it's soft and you push on it, then it'll flex and the paint will crack, so don't do that. But you'll see it's very basic how it's stuck in there. I have the wood blocks sitting in on each corner. So let me make sure my... Bobo, come here. Just making sure my dog doesn't maul this kid. And then once I screwed the screws into the wooden blocks to hold it, I just went around with a silicone to make sure it's watertight. You going home with him? No? Alright. So that's how that is. I know this this doesn't look that good, but you honestly never see it unless you open up the trunk And this is actually, I'll show another photo, how very similar to how the PTG team originally did it. You could actually see the sealant that they put in there, so it looks about the same from underneath. But here's the top. The main difference between this and the way the PTG team did it was that I fit it down here. They fit their bar a little bit higher, but because of the curvature and the fact that I only had one shot at doing this, I didn't want to ruin the wing. I went a little bit lower, but I think that turned out okay. And the last note on mounting is that, I mean, these bolts are holding this guy in there extremely well. I haven't seen any flex driving around with it with just the bolts in. But I did end up running some double-sided tape through the groove underneath the base. And then around where the bolt holes are, I put silicone just to make it watertight into the bolt holes. I purposely did not put silicone underneath here because I didn't want it to be watertight. I left gaps, I think here, here, and here with the double-sided tape so that water can get through. Because otherwise, the water just pools up back here and it has nowhere to go. I think it was very easy to do. And I'm actually confident that I could pull this off no problem on a more expensive replica. So if this is something that you're interested in doing in order to stay legal and keep your third brake light, I would say definitely go for it. It was very straightforward. Cutting this out with the Dremel was way easier than expected. Just put a little bit of tape down and cut the hole out. And yeah, thanks for watching.